Gervaise Heddle, Greatland Gold.
Yes.
I keep banging into you.
Yeah, I know. It's good.
How are you doing?
Good, mate. Good. Yeah,
I think you're starting to come to England, you.
I do. I like coming to London. Yes.
Yeah, I think so.
I have a thing for it. Yeah.
You had an RNS out this week.
Yes.
Do you want to have a little chat about that?
Yeah, sure. So we published the results from Brommas. So you might remember Brommas was the project that we have that's about 30 kilometres outside of Norseman, and we had a theory that there might be nickel sulphides out there, and so we did a limited drilling campaign of 4 holes down there to see if that theory was correct. What we found were broad but unfortunately low level intercepts of nickel, so 40 metres at about 0.14% nickel I think was one of the intercepts, maybe it's 48 metres. But we did find some interesting signs of zinc and silver associated together, also with cadmium and elevated levels of sulphur, which is indicative of VMS type system. So at this point we think we need to do some more work, including some downhole EM, to sort of follow up on that and see if, look, is there something else going on down there? How does that system develop? Try and get an idea of that from a downhole electromagnetic survey, and then we need to make a decision from there about following these things up. Somebody sent around a very interesting piece earlier this week about how about VMS discoveries and how there are various stages, and sometimes getting the first sign is interesting, but you don't really know what's there. It could be nothing, or it could be something significant, and we're not going to know until we do some more work. So
I seen the RNS when it was released, and it was quite strange the way the markets reacted to it, because obviously you're at your early stage exploration.
Yeah, well, still, we are an exploration company,
so
sometimes the markets get a little bit ahead of themselves in terms of what they're hoping for from the exploration results. We didn't find high-grade nickel sulphides, which would have been the ideal outcome. But look, we have found something that's interesting, and we just need to keep following up on that and doing some more work.
I've got some questions from your shareholders.
Yeah, sure.
If you don't mind.
Absolutely.
What was the reason for the inactivity at these sites prior to the recent drill campaign? What is the depressed market?
Sure, absolutely. So I think that question is probably related to Brommas, Ernest Giles, the Tasmanian projects. Over the last couple of years, the board hadn't done a lot of work on those projects and sort of done the minimum amount. Brommas had been caught up in native title stuff, so they couldn't do anything because they couldn't get permission. But generally, the reason there wasn't much activity on the projects was basically because of the depressed commodity price environment, which meant that shareholders weren't very supportive of new exploration and that sort of thing. But I think now that, as we've said in previous presentations, we believe that we've passed the bottom of the commodity cycle, or very close to it anyway. And I think shareholders are saying that we want to invest in companies now that are proactive on exploration. So we've taken a more proactive exploration approach across all of the projects, and in particular, you'll see there's an ambitious drilling campaign slated for Ernest Giles coming up. And we're also doing more in the Tasmanian projects as well. So both Warrantina and Firetower we're going to be doing a lot more as well going forwards. And then, as we've sort of promised, we're looking at external opportunities, and we hope that at least one of those sort of comes to fruition in the very near future.
Right. The next question is, at what point will the company look at Carnegie at Ernest Giles?
Yeah, Carnegie at Ernest Giles. So Carnegie is another potential nickel sulphide target. So the issue with Carnegie is that it's relatively deep, so it's a few hundred metres down, we believe, to the mineralisation. So we've sort of been tossing up on that one whether that's worth doing that. We think that the gold antimony arsenic anomaly at Ernest Giles is more interesting than the nickel, the possible nickel sulphide target, which doesn't mean that we won't do Carnegie or that it isn't interesting. But as an exploration company, you've got to sort of weigh the risk and reward on every project,
cost and benefit,
and so at this point in time, we just think we're better off looking at the gold targets on Ernest Giles, some of which are a bit closer to the surface, maybe 100, 200 metres, we think, near surface, based on the work we've done.
Got to keep putting my glasses on.
Yeah, no, that's right. Would you want me to read the questions?
I know, yeah. No, you can't steal my job. No.
Sure.
The bod the board has previously mentioned they are on the lookout for new assets. Can you give an idea of what type of resources and in what locations, jurisdictions?
Sure.
Please.
So, in terms of jurisdictions, I mean, ideally we prefer to operate in better jurisdictions to do business. So Australia would be an obvious case because both Callum and I are there, and it's a good jurisdiction to do business. But other jurisdictions where there's good rule of law, good process in terms of permitting, we prefer those locations. But there's also a price that you tend to pay with them, so you don't always necessarily have access to those projects, but that's our preferred thing. In terms of commodities, I'd say look, gold is the top of our list. We are Greatland Gold, and we do have gold assets.
You do well.
I've got a very positive view on gold personally, and the board has a positive view on gold, so I think we want to focus on gold and the precious metals. But we're also keenly interested in base metals, things like that. Probably not so much niche metals in Greatland. Things like maybe vanadium, like a bit too hard. Diamonds, again, probably the too hard basket. So gold and base metals are our main focus at this point. Yeah.
So what would you say to shareholders at the moment? You're in the UK visiting, doing the Man and Maven show.
Yeah.
What would you say?
About
the company to go forward.
Oh, sure. Okay. Well, look, I think that it, consistent with the message that we gave when we did the presentation here at this venue in June. We believe that we're at the beginning of a bull market in commodities. So we want to advance our existing projects, and sometimes we may advance those projects with partners if possible, get partners to help fund that advancement. We also are looking for new projects, ideally ones where we can acquire 100% of them, or certainly a controlling interest in them. And again, at a good valuation. We think we can still pick up interesting projects at good valuations at this time, because particularly with private projects, they're still coming out of a period where nobody was interested. If you had a private project, it was difficult to sell it, and we're still seeing opportunities there to pick up private projects. We still think this sector is flush with opportunity. It's still early enough that you can go out and do work like this and not overpay. As I've said before, we just want to be on the front foot and keep executing on the opportunities as we see them, and keep a good pipeline of exploration happening.
Gervaise, thanks very much.
Thanks very much.